Hello and welcome to Discourse of Peacocks, where today I'm going to be discussing Leeds United's most convincing win of the season so far, Leeds United 3, Coventry City 0. It was our most impressive and dominant performance in terms of converting chances. Still a little pet peeve there, which I'll discuss later, but nobody can deny that we were the better team. We made Coventry look void of ideas. Didn't even look like we'd got out of second gear. We created multiple chances, which obviously isn't a new thing for us, but we limited the shots on goal to 2 for Coventry, whereas we had 8 shots on target ourselves. So it's just a really happy times. The first game since Rutter left that we have scored more than 3 goals or more, which I think is really important when it comes to the creativity side and the positivity around the front players and shot creating actions as well. So I think that's really impressive. So I'm going to go straight into the good elements of the game, which are, I'm going to start off obviously with Nonto, obviously first goal, assist as well for Piro's goal, absolutely fantastic. Lovely to see, he's had 5-6 games now where he hasn't had a goal contribution, so it's nice to see him with not just a goal but a spectacular goal, brilliant assist by Firpo. It was, everybody was amazed at it. It was just so instinctive. It didn't feel like we were pushing in order to get that goal. It didn't feel like we were exhausting all of our options and having to walk it into the back of the net, which was something that we've really struggled with. So that's really brilliant. Next one, I would say Gruev, who again, he's just brilliant. I love him. I think he's so underrated. And I think if we didn't have Ampadu, we would value Gruev far more than we do as a fan base. He had a brilliant shot. We had a shot coming in. I can't remember who shot it. Then Joseph got the rebound and then it got cleared out. And then Gruev got the shot, controlled it and then took it. And the goalkeeper managed to just tip it over the edge. It was fantastic. We shot from outside of the box, which I think is something that we need to do more. We need to test goalkeepers. We need to not come with a scripted plan of, Leeds United, they only shoot once they're inside of the box. We need to surprise them. We need to mix it up. We need to have a variety of shots. It's how we're going to get anywhere in this league. Bogle, I have been quite critical of Bogle so far this season and again throughout pre-season. He seems to have taken longer than some of the other players to warm up. But I thought he was fantastic, not just offensively, because we all know he can do that, but also defensively. I thought he covered himself really well. You're never going to get a perfect performance. If you got perfect performances from these players, they wouldn't be in the Championship. But I thought he took his goal brilliantly. I thought he was really, we utilised that right-hand side for the first time properly this season. So I'm really happy and pleased for him. The crosses, we actually switched play, which we've seen very little of probably since Bielsa days. So both Gruev and Tanaka did some lovely crosses, cross switching play. Gruev's one ended up with Bogle hitting the side of the net, but obviously wouldn't have got there without Gruev. Then Tanaka got the pre-assist to Piro's goal, did a lovely cross ball. Nonto picked it up on the right-hand side, crossed it in. Piro, lovely, simplistic finish. Fantastic. Meslier obviously had very, very little to do throughout the entire game. He probably might as well have just bought himself a little standing seat in order to watch the game, because he was very much a kind of passenger and a spectator. But when he was called upon, the couple of times that he was, I'm thinking the shot in the 90-plus minute, obviously tipped it over the edge. He stayed switched on. It wouldn't have affected the result of the game, but I think that it would have affected the mood, because I think we'd have had the the Cardiff sense. Again, this game, you thought Cardiff were bad last week. Coventry created even less XG against us because Cardiff created 0.12 XG. Coventry created 0.1 XG. So we are limiting teams and their chances. We are smothering them with our defence and with our pressing, and it's working. Another one would be Aronson. I thought he was brilliant in the fact of he was just a busy pest. He was like a little, just niggly player that he just wouldn't leave you alone. And we've really missed that. And you could argue that with that kind of persistence last season, he could have been a missing piece. But we won't reflect too heavily on that because we're in good vibes space. So I think, it was a really good, it was professional, but it was also fun. The first goal especially was a fun goal. Firpo now being the player in the championship with the most assists of the calendar 2024 year, and also being the defensive player in the top 4 leagues of English football that has the most assists in the calendar year of 2024. Another impressive stat for Firpo. Who would have ever doubted him? I certainly never did. Never did. We're then going to move on to the limited bad things. So we're going to move on to the bad section. Now, there's not many. I haven't written that many things down, and quite a few of them are nitpicking. I'd still like us to move the ball more consistently, faster, or just more decisively instead of pondering, making decisions. But I suppose that will come with time. Like I said, it's going to be quite nitpicky because I thought it was a brilliant overall performance from the back to the front. So I would still like us to move things. That's more of a personal preference of, I love the stability at the back that Farke has created, but I do miss the slightly more attacking elements. It sounds like a broken record, but conversion, I would love us to actually put away the chances. We could have had a complete team change at half time if we'd have been on 3-0, which arguably we should have been. There were some fantastic chances, Bogle's chance quite near the end of the first half, Ramazani chance. So we had enough chances to be 3+ ahead at half time. So I'd like us to just be a little bit more comfortable in games, and that happens by converting your chances. I'd also, this is kind of countering what I said in my good section. So I want to preface this with saying that Nonto was brilliant. But some of his decisions, when he gets tired, his decision-making goes back to being Somerville-esque, holding onto the ball a bit too long, making the wrong decision, allowing himself to be crowded out by other players. So I would just like him to be able to maintain his good, decisive decision-making for longer. And also, I think that's a little bit on Farke because for me, Ramazani looked okay, and his decision-making wasn't that bad. Whereas Nonto, I think, needed to come off first, in my opinion. So Farke's choice to keep him on was questionable, in my opinion. But yeah, really nitpicky. He did fantastic, got a goal, got an assist, fantastic. Oh, and another thing I meant to say in the good section, Ramazani, goal and an assist in his 2 starting games. So that needs to be put back in the good section, but we'll leave it here for now. Another thing, and again, Pirro, for me, fantastic that he made another, he got another goal, coming from the bench instead of starting. He, for me, is like a super sub. That's how we should use him this season, as a super sub. And he's a little bit of a luxury player because before he got his goal, if you go back and watch the game, he gave the ball away in some poor areas, something that we would be jumping off our seats last season if it was Rutter. So for me, he is a luxury player right now because he still isn't the best when it comes to having the ball at his feet in dangerous areas. If the ball comes to him anywhere near the box, great. He is the player I want the ball to go to. But outside of the box, I don't really want the ball to go to Pirro because he is often quite slow. His decision making, it's like what, I don't know if, oh God, this is a really terrible description, but pheasants, their decision making when it comes to crossing the roads, and they end up getting squished by cars and things. That's kind of what Pirro's decision making reminds me of, is a pheasant crossing the road, and he often makes the wrong decisions. So yeah, Pirro for me, super sub, should not be starting over Joseph because Joseph does the hard yards in tiring the player out. I would like to see Joseph with some more goal contributions. He doesn't have to score. I just want a goal contribution whenever it's an assist or a goal. I don't care because he's helping the team. But I do think you will get people that will jump on him soon if he doesn't start being a little bit more consistent. I've still given him plenty of time. More than happy for him to be the starting number 9 because I think what we perform better as a team, which was one of the greatest arguments for Bamford, was as a team we play better with him on the pitch. So right now, as a team, we play better with Joseph on the pitch. But I would like some more goals because I'm a little bit greedy like that. Aronson, he was fantastic. Probably his best game this season for us. Arguably his best game since Liverpool 2-1. However, when it comes to him taking a shot, I would like him to just take a split second to take a breath. He almost goes too fast. His legs have done something before his brain's properly had time to engage. So I would just like him to just take a beat and think about it and be slightly more decisive with where he's going to place the ball. Because then I think that we have a brilliant player in the Championship on our hands if he just calms down. And that I have complete faith that he will do that, because that's the kind of thing that we used to have a go for Dan James for. He used to snatch opportunities, snatch at shots, and he would sky them. And last season, with Farke's guidance, Dan James got his best ever goal scoring season under him. So I do think that Aronson will be the same. Another bad kind of thing would be obviously the injuries. Ampadu is going to be a big loss, especially if it's for an extended period of time. If he's a possibility for Tuesday, I'd rather go safe and go with Gruev and Tanaka. I think they're more than good enough. You've got Rothwell as well to rotate in there as well. No problem with that. Just rest Ampadu up for as long as needed and then bring him in, and hopefully we'll have the Ampadu of the last 2 games back again. So yeah, injuries, which again, that's not really a negative. It's just I was struggling to think of that many things to put in the bad section, which is a great thing. And finally, and the process. So the team is starting to actually gel. You can see the trust, the relationship, the foundations, or the basement, as Farke likes to call it, is finally being built upon people's understanding of one another, understanding of Farke's tactics, understanding of the league, understanding of the pressure that the game and the expectations that we have as fans on this team. All of that is starting to gel. And even while it's still gelling, we're still getting the wins. We're still getting results. We've conceded 1 goal in the last 6 games. So it's doing really well without actually getting into kind of 4th gear, probably 2nd gear, elements of the 3rd. It's like we kind of got fast enough to get into 3rd, but we've still got more gears to go, 100%. And I think that's a really positive sign of the players trusting Farke trusting the players, which leads me on to my next point, actually, about Farke allowing the team to bed in, not rushing people just because we as fans sit in our chairs or in our seats or standing up at the game and shouting for X, Y, and Z player to come on. He's allowing his team to take the time to bed in. And while he's still taking the time, we're still getting the points on the board. We're doing well. But he's also allowing people to take their chances once they have been given a chance, like Tanaka coming on. It's about the 35th minute, something like that. I can't quite remember. Of the first half, and he did brilliantly. He stepped back and did the kind of what we all presumed Gruev would do, and Gruev went further forward, which I think that's fantastic, because none of us expected that to happen. And if we didn't expect it to happen, and we're the ones watching our team week in, week out, then opposition are certainly never going to expect that to happen. That element of surprise is it's an invaluable thing to have, feather in our bow to have. So I was amazed by the fact that we had that. We weren't as predictable, because we thought that Gruev would go into the Ampadu role and Tanaka would go forward, when actually it shows that they can interchange. We can be kind of moldable and fluid, and we can work to each team's the weaknesses and our strengths. So another fantastic thing. Defence, again, we've conceded since the opening game 1 goal. So, defence wins you titles. You can't lose a game if you don't concede. And with the amount of shot creating actions that we are creating, that's why conversion is so needed, because of the fact that the defence are doing their job. We now need the attack to do theirs. We are now 2 points off first place. 2 points. We're not mid-table, we're 2 points. And may I remind everybody as well that our greatest run in last season was when we were just behind. We were the chaser. And that's why I believe that Leeds United are on the hunt. We are chasing for that top spot. And I'm okay if we don't get there quite yet. I'm okay if we just keep going a place or so, going up, going down 1, going up 2, going down 1. I'm okay with that, because psychologically we did better when we were the chaser than when we were the chased last season. So if we can just keep the pressure on and then allow our team and our bench to flourish at the right times, we're going to be unstoppable. But I'm more than happy at the pace that we're going right now. We're also top of the form table in the last 6 games, because us and West Brom have the same goal difference in those games, but we have conceded. They've scored. We've both scored the same, but we've conceded less. That's it. So those clean sheets, they matter. We can prove now that they matter. Also, we beat Sheffield Wednesday and West Brom didn't. So maybe Farke's okay. Maybe we don't need to change to Corberan, because we beat them and they didn't. I think that's it. I think that's all I've got today for it. It was just a really happy, positive game. We did the job. We did it well. We had a little bit of creativity, a bit of a spark. I'd love to hear what your opinions are. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? Obviously, rules as always: be respectful, be kind, be considerate. But if you don't agree with me, absolutely fine. Let's have a discussion. That's what I want from this channel. I like the back and forth opinions. So yeah, please go ahead, give us a comment. And if you like this video, want to see more, want to see something different as well as reviews, then please leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe, do all of those YouTube algorithm loving things. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.